In today's news, BVI records over 100 curfew violations.
And President Donald Trump is now suggesting that persons ingest disinfectant to cure COVID-19. These and more when 284 News returns.
We understand that you cannot come to the store and encourage you to stay at home. If you need assistance with bill payments, top-ups, or troubleshooting, we are here to help. Call us at 444-4444 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, or visit our website at www.cctbvi.com. Click Top Up here or My CCT for top-up or bill payments. Social distancing with CCT.
Welcome everyone. This is your 284 Media Newscast for today, Friday, April 24th, 2020. So grateful to be winding down to the end of another week. I'm Javon Wilson.
And I am Kyla Keisha Forbes.
Now, Kyla, we're following troubling headlines just across the world in reference to the novel coronavirus. As we know, to date, deaths across the globe have now amounted to 194,456 deaths, with that's almost 200,000 persons,
yeah.
when you think about it, across 185 countries. Now, the total of confirmed cases across the world is currently 2,766,611 cases. So a lot to go over as we think about what's happening across the world, but more specifically in the BVI. We know we have been so blessed so far to only confirm 5 cases locally. We know 3 of those have recovered. We have recorded 1 death and 1 case is current. And as we count down to the end of the curfew, Kyla, a lot of persons are now anxious and really questioning what's going to be the government's next step. I know as a result of the 24-hour lockdown, it's almost been a month, right? Almost a month.
About a month, yeah.
Yes.
Because we first started on the 27th of March.
Yes, and
Yeah, so bringing us down, it would be approximately a month.
And a lot of persons are worried, We have to come to grips with the fact that almost 50% of businesses in the BVI's economy has been crippled by this, and a lot of persons have lost their jobs. Now persons are really rallying for the curfew to be softened, first of all, and for persons to like the Premier said time and time over, if we do not police ourselves, who's going to do it for us? I think this is an opportunity for us to embrace the softer curfew and really institute social distancing measures for us to really reenact some local business in the local economy.
I do agree, Javon. And what I would say, I think persons are pushing for a softer curfew, but I must reiterate, at the end of the day, we have to practice proper social distancing. I think we have been touring around the world social distancing, but I think, to be honest, in the BVI, we have not been properly practicing social distancing. Every day we see where persons are still gathering, persons who are out right now, who are permitted to be out, are still not practicing proper social distancing. So I think as we hope that the curfew may end, we have to keep this in mind.
We definitely need to. And I know in countries like Trinidad, it's against the law. You can be charged if you are not social distancing. Another law we see coming into play across the region is the wearing of masks. And that is definitely going to be a big consideration for us here within the British Virgin Islands. I see that as being a mandatory measure for persons to be able to leave their homes and interact with others. You must be wearing a mask. And again, that is law in some countries. So those are some of the measures I think our government, they're probably currently discussing in cabinet as they prepare to release us from the 24-hour lockdown. Viewers, we're going to head straight into our newscast for today. Now, coming out of GIS, several public officers have undergone training to ensure that businesses adhere to COVID-19 preventative measures as the territory prepares to reopen following the curfew period. Chief Environmental Health Officer Mr. Lionel Michael facilitated the training that's yesterday, April 23rd, that provided the social distancing task force with the inspection procedure that will ensure that each private sector business approved by Cabinet is preparing for opening. The officers received information on COVID-19 and how to prevent the spread on contraction of the virus. They learned the correct procedures for hand washing and wearing of masks. The guidelines for the inspection outlined that businesses must have clear demarcation to adhere to the 6 feet social distancing guideline inside and outside the compound, must have a minimum of 2 sanitization stations that should be utilized by customers before entering the establishment, procedures to ensure the sanitization of money, the wearing of masks by employers and employees, and the establishment of social distancing monitoring mechanisms. Mr. Michael said that the social distancing task force has an important role to play in the safety of citizens as the territory prepares to reopen following the lockdown. Now, viewers, as we can remember, on April 16th, Deputy Governor David Archer had announced that the public sector service will resume operations on April 27th, 2020. Now, while some were mandated to report to office, other persons were instructed to work remotely from home in light of the coronavirus crisis. At that point, he had expressed that from April 20th to the 27th, department heads and managers are to reopen office to ensure that the departments are prepared to receive the officers. Workspaces were also set to be rearranged to support social distancing and sanitization measures. Mr. Archer also expressed that while businesses is sure to continue, it will not be business per usual. Going forward, all departments will be consulted on an appointment-only basis. Now, Kyla, that was before the government's last decision to extend the lockdown. Now, in light of these new circumstances, we are not sure what the new protocols will be. I'm sure more than likely that directive will be given during the next government press conference, and based on what we're hearing, that is scheduled for today. So hopefully we will be given some amount of direction when it comes to our public service officers. But we see here a very important measure in place, right, of course, ensuring that our public officers are well sensitized on the much needed protocols that we must adhere to going forward.
I do agree. I'm loving that we're seeing here coming out of the public sector. They are leading in these procedures and just basically showing the public the way forward as it pertains to business. Yes, so viewers, in a recent report, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has announced that over 100 curfew breaches have occurred since the government first imposed the 24-hour lockdown in the British Virgin Islands. As we said earlier, that started on the 27th of March. Now, Commissioner of Police Michael Matthews admitted that the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has seen a decline in serious crimes and other minor crimes. And of course, Javon, we can attribute this to the lockdown, everyone being indoors. But although the territory has seen a decline in some areas of crime, the territory's overall crime rate in minor crimes category have spiked due to the high level of curfew breaches. The police commissioner reported that 132 breaches of curfew were recorded as of the 18th of April. So that statistic is not even necessarily up to this extended curfew, but up to the 18th of April. The first initial lockdown started on the 27th, as I said, and the extended 24-hour lockdown is anticipated to end on Sunday, April 26th. Now, Javon, the question begs to be asked, why are the residents of the BVI determined to break curfew? Javon, I think we have seen over this course of this week, we have seen during this extended lockdown, the streets have been filled. The supermarkets parking lots are filled. Establishments are serving customers despite the clear instruction that has been given by the government. I'm thinking that we're hoping that we will be out of the woods soon, but like I said, the question begs to be asked, why are the residents of the BVI just determined to break curfew? This is actually a lot of breaches that we have seen over such a short course of time.
You know, it's one of the deterrent factors I think government will need to examine. Again, we have to, and I think it's because, again, this is all new to us. We are accustomed to being able to be out and utilize the beaches for some the
and
beaches
to be in control.
definitely to a lot of people. I mean, when the premier made the announcement that beaches will, persons will not be allowed to frequent the beaches, I mean, it really came as a shock to many. But a lot of persons need it for, their mental sanity. But again, it is against the law. And I think this is where the struggle comes in knowing that a lot of the things that we're accustomed to doing, we cannot do it in the same measures going forward. The fact is, this is the new world order, at least until we can figure out the way forward with COVID-19. And I think in the best interest of everyone involved, we ought to adhere to the practices.
I do agree. 2 points coming out of this. I think persons have to realize if we are not able to adhere to the lockdown procedures and instructions that are being placed on us, if we are to be let outside and have a softened curfew, will we be able to adhere to those precautions and those preventative measures? So I think persons have to look at that, and they also have to realize that we are not the only persons, or we are not the only country that have been put under these measures. It's not our government trying to impose any stricter laws than any other place in the world.
I certainly agree with you. Again, it is a situation to manage. I think as adults, we have to take better responsibility for ourselves and be way more accountable, because what we know now is that, this thing does not discriminate. Any one of us can be infected. And so in protecting ourselves, not only are we preserving our health, but the people around us. So again, viewers, you are encouraged. You are encouraged. I mean, I am a beach junkie. I am suffering. But it is something that we cannot go against at this point. We're not sure if those measures will be relaxed. Just looking across the borders in the United States Virgin Islands, Kyla, we've seen two completely different levels of leadership. Or we compare the BVI to the USVI. Beaches are still open. There is a soft curfew in the US Virgin Islands. But people are social distancing, even though, there are no laws, even for persons who are not quarantined, because that's a new headline in St. Thomas. Persons are upset that the governor is not extending penalties against persons who refuse to self-quarantine themselves, where in the BVI, that is now, a law.
Right.
And so it's a contrast almost, and it will be really interesting to see what the outcome is going to be in the USVI, with little to no surveillance compared to the BVI being under a complete lockdown.
Yes, definitely. So viewers, still ahead, New York City, they see a decrease in COVID-19, their daily deaths, and President Trump is now suggesting that disinfectant to be injected into humans to fight the coronavirus. Hear all about it when 284 News returns.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
We understand that you cannot come to the store and encourage you to stay at home. If you need assistance with bill payments, top-ups, or troubleshooting, we are here to help. Call us at 444-4444 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, or visit our website at www.cctbvi.com. Click Top Up here or My CCT for top-up or bill payments. Social distancing with CCT.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, adding to his long list of ridiculous and inaccurate coronavirus-related medical claims, President Donald Trump is now dangerously suggesting that ingesting disinfectant could possibly be used to treat people who have the virus. Now, after Bill Bryan, the acting Undersecretary of Science and Technology for the Department of Homeland Security, talked about experiments in which he said disinfectants like bleach and isopropyl alcohol quickly kill the virus, President Trump mused about whether disinfectants could be used to treat the virus in humans, asking whether there is, quote, a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning. End of quote. Now, as if that was not enough, the President of the United States of America said, quote, there has been a rumor that, a very nice rumor, that you go outside in the sun or you have heat and it does have an effect on other viruses. I would like to speak to the medical doctors to see if there is any way that you can apply light and heat to cure, if you could, and maybe you can, maybe you can't. End of quote. Now, viewers, this bizarre exchange is the latest example of President Trump's grasping for a quick fix for the pandemic after he previously suggested that it might go away in warm weather, and that anti-malaria pills could be a game changer. And as you can imagine, these irresponsible statements have been met by major public backlash. Medical professionals were quick to dispute Trump's claims as, quote, irresponsible and dangerous. Dr. Vin Gupta, a pulmonologist, global health policy expert, said, quote, this notion of injecting or ingesting any type of cleansing product into the body is irresponsible and it is dangerous. It is a common method that people utilize when they want to kill themselves. Now, Dr. Megan Ranney, an emergency physician who works at the Rhode Island Hospital University, also battled down the president's suggestion and warned that trying it could cause sunburn, skin cancer, and other dangerous consequences. He said, quote, going out in the sun or exposing yourself to these high-intensity UV lamps is not going to protect you from COVID-19. I don't want people to think that this is another medical cure, end of quote. Now, further to that, many of the major disinfectant companies have since come to the forefront to publicly denounce the oral use of these products. Now, Kyla, just when we thought President Trump couldn't dish out anything more horrendous than he would have in the past, here we see another irresponsible statement in the middle of all the confusion we've had to deal with in light of this coronavirus crisis. The sad part is, Kyla, and I always say this, not just about President Trump, but a lot of people around our communities and across the world, people with influence, people like Donald Trump, they have a die-hard following.
Right.
And to these people, whatever Trump says or whatever who else is saying, it's like the gospel truth to them.
Yeah.
So the unfair reality we might see here is these people on this horrendous, stupid assumption, either spending way too much time outside when they can either contract or spread the virus, or worse, we could see them causing major harm to their bodies by ingesting disinfectants like he's suggesting.
Javon, the sad part is that Americans, this is your president. It's really sad to see at the end of the day. I actually watched the rerun of the press conference where he said this, and you can see that he was definitely not knowledgeable of any kind on the subject, and to just go out and make claims, such irresponsible claims, it makes me quiver.
A lot of persons thought that it was fake news, but of course it populated all the major headlines, and that information was disseminated down to us.
And you can see, and as you said, disinfectant companies did not have it basically putting out press letting this to be known that this is, do not underestimate and do not follow what the president is saying. And as you said, someone of influence has to be more responsible than this.
Definitely. I know the World Health Organization, the Director General, also spoke out against it. And of course, they even after his statement, President Trump's statement, they would have adjusted the information on their website to show that, again, this is a dangerous move. Persons across the world are committing suicide by ingesting these products. Like, it is so irresponsible for the president to be going about doing this. But again, viewers, to some, it might be surprising, but to persons like us in the news, not so much.
Not so much when it comes to President Trump, but in New York, the governor of New York City said just on Friday this morning that all the evidence suggests that the state is on a downside of the curve. Now, since April 18th, the number of single-day deaths due to the coronavirus in New York City have remained below 500. Now, on Thursday, 422 persons died from the virus. Javon, just hearing these numbers, the fact that these numbers as high as nearly 500 is actually a glimmer of hope for the city of New York. You know, these numbers are still very devastating, but it's actually, as I said, a glimmer of hope for the city. The state of New York has seen more than 16,000 persons who have already succumbed to the virus and the city have been the epicenter of the U.S. coronavirus outbreak. Now, of course, although the states are seeing a decline in daily deaths, the governor stressed that without maintaining precautions, the virus could make a resurge. And I think here we are seeing, and Javon, as we were speaking about earlier, I think we always have to look at precautionary measures. No city, no country, no island can feel as though they are out of the woods just yet. And that's why we're speaking to the people of the BVI to know that we're not out of the woods. We can see a resurge. We can see worse results that we are seeing now. So we have to, maintain the precautionary measures. So now, just this morning, the death toll from the coronavirus in the United States passed 50,000, accounting for more than 25% of the COVID-19 deaths globally. More than 2.7 million COVID-19 cases have been confirmed worldwide. As I said, Javon, we have to stay on top of our precautionary measures to make sure that, cities that are seeing a downturn of the virus to continue to see this downturn, and hopefully, just hopefully, one day we will be out of the woods.
Kyla, we continue to push the message of, embracing the medical instructions that are being dispersed through the various forums, especially locally by the BVI Health Services Authority and by the Florida Ministry of Health. It's so important that we continue to embrace these measures because easily the BVI could, this could be a crisis for us here in the BVI.
Yes.
I think one of the things we've been taken for granted is the efforts of the BVI Health Services Authority under the leadership, of course, of the Minister of Health, and how we've been able to contain the virus. And that has been because of these strict measures that are currently in place. But viewers, again, even though New York has seen a decrease in deaths, it's still a very grim reality for America. Just today, breaking headlines, about 24 million Americans are now unemployed. And that really just speaks to the crippling reality of what's happening here. We know initially through the Paycheck Protection Program, where the federal stimulus program was supposed to bail out some businesses. Right. We know that $369 billion was depleted in a mere few days, with persons really rushing to capitalize on those forgivable loans. As of this morning, we see about $464 billion being signed off on again, adding to the bailout, the previous bailout. So hopefully more Americans will be able to access this. But as we examine what's going on across America and across the world, the reality is still very frightening.
It's very
a lot
frightening
of people are still anxious. And when you think about the vulnerable people, the persons in the vulnerable communities, the Black communities, those are the persons who are truly affected by it. And get this, President Trump is still rushing to reopen the economy as early as April 1st. Just today, Georgia has reopened their state. So it's a frightening reality. Again, a tug of war between health and economy. Yes, but we just have to continue to monitor it. And all of this, viewers, is the model. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like Kyla said, this is happening all across the world and the region. It is just for us to look adapt the measures that work for us and, of course, personalize that to meet the needs of our community.
Most definitely, Javon.
All right, viewers, we have to rush off, but we just want to remind you of a promotion at the Caribbean Insurance Limited. Now, Caribbean Insurance Limited's close relationship with its family of private and commercial clients keeps it very aware of the challenges faced in the BVI community right now. Now, in addition to their regular personal service, which is still accessible in full online and, of course, over the phone, they have also begun the Insure You campaign. It's basically a play on words and encourages people to practice wellness by taking care of themselves with calming meditation, brisk activity, and maybe a well-cooked meal. Now, one of the activities rolled out within the campaign is their ongoing quarantine bingo. And Kyla, who does not like a game of bingo? Of course, where persons are now able to win $150 in groceries. Viewers, that is a $150 certificate for you to use at any supermarket. So again, viewers, if you haven't as yet, you can head over to their Facebook page, that is Caribbean Insurance Limited, for full instructions on how you can get your bingo on. Kyla, do you play bingo?
Yes, who doesn't play bingo?
I'm not a huge fan, but
Really?
I mean, with $150 on the line, I probably might
You better learn.
I'm
Okay.
definitely going to learn, but we see businesses across the territory continuing to find meaningful ways to not only engage their clients, but also build awareness on what's happening.
Yes.
And in this case, we see them encouraging persons to make meaningful use of their time, whether it's a fun activity or a productive one. So big kudos to
I love it.
the Caribbean Insurance Limited family and all the other businesses who are doing their utmost best to beat this coronavirus phase that we are currently in. Viewers, it was our absolute pleasure. Again, the government of the Virgin Islands is scheduled hopefully to come and update the public today. So of course you can look forward to that. Stay tuned to our 284 Media page on Facebook for the live coverage of that press conference. But as of now, that is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at 284 Media, as well as 284 BVI on Instagram, as well as Twitter. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes. We'll see you again next week as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news, right here on 284 Media. Have a happy weekend, everybody.
We understand that you cannot come to the store and encourage you to stay at home. If you need assistance with bill payments, top-ups, or troubleshooting, we are here to help. Call us at 444-4444 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, or visit our website at www.cctbvi.com. Click Top Up here or My CCT for top-up or bill payments. Social distancing with CCT.
In the final analysis, we have two options: stay inside and create memories that will last forever, or go outside and say goodbye to those memories. We're not stuck inside, we're safer inside. The time is now to unite, embrace, and love each other from a distance. Show the world and the people in it just how much they mean to you by keeping your distance. It may be difficult, but necessary. Let's reintroduce humanity and heart to all homes. While we can't enjoy the sun, sand, and sea, let's take this time to remember why we are nature's little secrets. Stay inside, and when it's over, we would all be better, stronger, and we would all still be together. With self-discipline and patience, we can overcome. We are, have been, and will always be VI Strong. A message from your team at 284 Media. Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. 284 Media proudly presents its newest talk show, The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, with yours truly, Ron Grant. A show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Don't worry, it's not all about suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a 284 Media production.